Are you playing warrior at all? Looks grim. We're definitely gonna play warrior since there are no new classes, and you know, from melee classes, I don't think that I enjoyed monk as much as I enjoyed warrior. That being said, since we have no new classes, we have no druid or templar or whatever you want to call it. We just have to stick to warrior, I guess. The way of the warrior, boys. Alright, so we're obviously not going to read that. Act 4 with new bosses, blah 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 blah. Apparently, this Act 4 is completely non-linear, and you choose which bosses, which locations you want to do in what order, which is cool. That's perhaps first time I've seen something like that in ARPG, so that's kind of cool. I like that. Banner looks mega busted. Valor is easy to get. You know what I was thinking about? I was thinking about from what the changes I read. I did see banners, and I saw banners with could be completely busted with Tactician, right? Because Tactician gets like banners for free, kinda. He can get Valor easily, so that would be kind of busted. Not gonna lie. Excuse me. But of course, mostly against bosses. You're not gonna like use it while farming. Not very often. A third addict and marks the removal of cruel difficulties, so basically you don't have to beat the campaign anymore. There's gonna be 4 acts and then additional like side missions after 4 acts, and that's it. You just get to endgame, which is really cool. The Abyss League, this is basically like a reskin of Abyss League from PoE 2, from PoE 1. And there's gonna be new crafting system. There's gonna be basically like abyssal modifiers from PoE 1. And, you know, you guys are gonna see. You guys that didn't play PoE 1, you're gonna see very quickly. It's easy to understand. And Abyss is pretty cool. Abyss is pretty cool, especially if they're gonna eliminate some of the annoying parts of Abyss in PoE 1. Which is, for example, you have to follow this... Like, there is like this line that goes through the map, and you have to follow it and kill monsters. And sometimes it takes a long time. If they eliminated that, then Abyss in PoE 2 seems to be really, really good. Right? Hopefully it's going to be good. But this is also going to be one way to juice endgame maps, so that's kind of interesting. You know, new farming method. I guess I'm not gonna do ritual anymore. I'm just gonna do something else. Gonna do something else. Major character balance overhaul. So, I'm gonna ask you guys, do you want me to read, do you want me to go through, like, together, to go through everything, or do we only care about, like, warrior stuff? That's the question. Because if we're going through everything, then I might as well get another bottle of water. We're gonna keep playing Will Smith, but it looks like they nerfed Smith a bit. Whatever you prefer. Okay, we're just gonna... Look, I'm just gonna go through everything. If I'm gonna get tired, I'm gonna let you know, guys. I'm gonna start losing my voice. Because this is like a lot of changes, right? So, support gems area, but so support gem changes. The most important change so far that... I mean, so far. From yesterday that I can tell you guys without even reading these is the fact that you can use support gems as many as you want. You're not limited to 1 anymore. You're not limited to 1, which is insane. And this is one of the reasons I think why they changed the... They changed so many skills and they nerfed so many skills is because this is going to give you an extra power, right? Like this way you can, for example, use 3 skills instead of 1. Because for the remaining skills, you just don't have enough good supports. And you can, you know, do whatever you want. I actually enjoyed your League gameplay. Too bad it ended too early. I'm going to play some more League later on, so... also, too. We're going to read these patch notes because, you know, it's going to take, like, the entire stream, right? It's not going to take, like, 4 hours. We're going to jump into some League later. You lose basically 50% EHP with the block nerf. We're going to get to that. So you can use as many supports in as many skills as you want. Great, fantastic, right? Then we'll remove the restriction of there it is. Then many supports, multiple tiers. That's really interesting because now instead of a single support, some of the supports gonna have 3 tiers. Tier number 1 is going to be basically usually a little bit weaker than the support that that we had in PoE in 0.2. Tier 2 support is going to be on average the same, maybe a little bit stronger sometimes. And Tier 3 supports very often are going to do something extra. So, like, for example, I don't know, we had examples yesterday on stream, right? I don't remember. I can like tell you right out of my head, but this is potentially like a massive game changer when it comes to endgame builds, because many of these supports might be very, very interesting. On top of that, I saw they added 40 endgame lineage supports, which basically what they do is like they're like super endgame, they're going to be super rare, and they do something like really, really powerful. The one I saw that was completely busted is the one that basically when you hit your opponents, their resistances are treated as being inverted. So for example, if you hit a boss, if you hit Zesht that has 75 resistances and you have no sources of penetration, the 75 resistance becomes minus 75 on him. That's busted as hell. That is so freaking stupid, honestly. And of course, it's going to work way worse on enemies that don't have resistances. But enemies that don't have resistances, who cares? It's going to be super OP against bosses. And this is definitely going to be like a super expensive support, right? This is just one example, but there are more. But, they're probably going to keep on spoiling them as the week progresses. So then we have this, 11 additional supports on top of that. We're going to see what they are. Lineage supports, as I mentioned before. Number of support gems have renamed with names. Very nice, thank you very much. Blood and Eyes discombobulate, unsteady tempo, unbaiting, unbending, untouchable, unyielding. It can no longer be engraved in the gem cutting menu. And existing gems will be deleted upon logging in. You know the problem with this is? Actually, there is no problem at all. I don't even know what these supports were doing. That means that they're probably nothing special, right? I mean, unyielding, I think, had to do something with like stun threshold when you use a skill while you're tap dancing while it's freaking raining on Tuesdays or something like that. Untouchable was like another one of these, like, you cannot get stunned if you use skill in past 4 seconds. If the skill was a spell and projectile skill and melee skill and was shooting meteors from the sky at the same time. So these type of skills, I don't think like losing these is gonna change anything whatsoever. But we'll see. The thing is that if I don't even remember what these skills were doing, what these supports were doing, that means that they're probably nothing great. I think that unsteady tempo wasn't that the skill that give you attack speed if you used a skill in like past 4 seconds. The more skills you used, the more attack speed you were getting. But there was a limit. If you went past the limit, the skill was disabled for like 8 seconds or something like that. I don't know. I think there is something like this. Updated for warding for the... Okay, so warding is going to be better. Very nice. That's good for like newer players. Updated description of last gas support. Mentioned that supported minions die before... Blah, 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 blah. Perfect. Minions. Who cares? Nobody plays that. sorry, Gazzy. Support get gems with support you use yourself can no longer support persistent skill. Support gems which support skills you use yourself can no longer support persistent skills. You can still support gems have persistent component that can manually like a plague bearer. I mean, I get it, but maybe it's because. Maybe I got confused for a second because I don't think there's like any warrior skills that really care about that change. So whatever, I guess it doesn't really matter. In addition, we've fixed the bug when numerous supports which support the use yourself could support skills used by totems or trigger skills. These no longer do so unless specified otherwise. Uh-oh. It's like foreshadowing, I think, for the totem nerfs. Clarify the wording of muster support to refer specifically to the number of different reviving minions you have. This is not functional change. Okay, having skills seconded support gem, you do not meet the attribute requirement and will disable just those support instead of disable the entire skill. Okay, that's I guess useful for for newer players once again, like a small nice change. Lightning, Cold, Fire, Chaos, and Fusion Super have been renamed to Lightning. Okay, so just like name changes. Alright. We have new skills. Fortifying Cry. So, as expected, we're going to have more War Cries now instead of just Infernal Cry and Seismic Cry. And performs a War Cry that grants a guard and causes subsequent shield attacks to release an empowered shockwave when dealing damage. The skill cooldown can be bypassed by an endurance charge. Guys, depending on what the amount of guard is going to be, because you know what the guard is, right? This is basically an additional shield. You get a shield. Like, I don't know, like Janna shields you in League of Legends, right? Doesn't that mean that Warbringer is completely busted with this? If you just spam Fortify and Cry, you just get perma shield all the freaking time. And once again, it depends on what this value is on this skill. If the value is something like 500, because normally you can't use this very often, you need endurance charge to bypass the cooldown. If the value is something like 500, that is bussin'. That is big. That is so big, actually. And this is also good because subsequent shield attacks release an empowered shockwave when dealing damage. And you remember what we did like last league, right? With Nebulok and the shield charge, right? that is like interesting. This sounds interesting to me, honestly. Forge Hammer. Hurl a fiery hammer that slams into the ground and lodges there. While the hammer is lodged in the ground, reusing the skill recalls the hammer and resets the skill's cooldown. Alternatively, using a war cry near the lodged hammer causes it to shatter, releasing a number of molten fissures in the spiral. I mean, it's all depending on numbers, right? We can't really say much about this without knowing the numbers. If, for example, a Warbringer once again can abuse that in a way that you just spam like hundreds of these fissures, then maybe. But who knows? Ultimately, yes, Warbringer is sounding pretty busted so far, lol. We're gonna get to Ascendancies later because I do know that there were Ascendancy changes. Ancestral Cry, another one. Perform a war cry using glory. Oh, frick me. Not the glory mechanic. Gained by igniting enemies to turn. War cry using glory. Gained by igniting enemies. So you gain glory by igniting bastards, okay? To turn you into an embodiment of Chaos, alright? While embodying Chaos, your footsteps trigger volcanic steps. Melee strikes and slams are ancestrally boosted, and your melee attack hits trigger volcanic eruption. I bet these slams are not as boosted as I am in League of Legends, but still. Once again, that kind of depends on numbers. This is supposed to be like an ultimate skill, apart from Hammer of the Gods, I'm assuming. But it's freaking glory mechanic, man. I mean, look, I have an idea. What if you had like a ability that was hitting multiple times, like for example, molten strike, molten blast, and you ignited the bastards like freaking 50 times a second, right? And you just got your glory instantly for the skill. Maybe with multiple like shotgunning abilities where you could like ignite a lot. Maybe, man. Molten Strike's so bad right now. And don't spoil everything, Supra. we're gonna get to this. So that's this. Added a new dexterity skill gem, Toxic Domain. Create an area of toxic bloom on the ground around you. On the bloom, you have increased skill cost, regenerate. Hold on. Toxic bloom on the ground around you. While in the bloom, you have increased skill cost, regenerate life. I wonder how much that is. Your projectile attacks attack a toxic I have freaking no idea how to pronounce that word. Which can be poisoned. Pustules will detonate after a duration. This is like a buff and for projectiles. Anyone thinks that it will be possible to... anyone thinks it will be possible to, like, freaking convert fire damage from Molten Blast to Chaos and scale Poison? That would sound like a kind of cool, combo. Just, like, freaking barrage enemies with, like, freaking poisons and then just, stack 200 poisons or something. I don't know. I don't think you can stack this many poisons in this game. I think it's PoE 1, right? In PoE 2 there's yeah. I think I'm just overcooking for now. Added a new dexterity skill gem, ice-tipped arrows. Ready your active bow or spear, empowering your next barrageable bow or projectile spear attacks to create ice fragments on hit. This skill's cooldown can be bypassed by expending a frenzy charge. Thank you. That tells me nothing. Added a new intelligence skill gem, frost darts. Conjures a number of icy projectiles to launch towards the target. Icy projectiles. It kind of sounds cool, not gonna lie. There was like a really cool icy projectile ability in an old ARPG that I played, Sacred. That was like my favorite skill. So if this is something like that, it's gonna be pretty decent. I just called a spell decent. What is freaking wrong with me? Go next. New strength persistent buff gem, Iron Ward. While active, stores the percentage of the physical damage that is prevented by your armor or other source of damage reduction. Using this skill raises the storage damage in the Nova of spikes. That sounds like ass. That sounds like freaking trash, man. That sounds like garbage, man. I'm sorry. I don't see it. Unless this has something else cool that it does. I don't know, man. You need to take damage in order to then press a button that is probably going to do some dog shit damage. That's it. I don't know, man. I'm not sure about that. Sock looks insane if you combo things, though. You know that most people will go for a one-button gameplay, as always. That's how it's always been. And the fact that we can use unlimited amount of support in how many skills we want, I don't think it's going to change that. For a very long time, when you farm maps over and over and over again, you don't like spam combos all the time. 2 buttons, the horror. Yeah, you want to be freaking spamming 1 button all the time. 2 buttons is way too much. Like, think about it this way. 2 buttons compared to 1 button is 100% increase. That's double. That is a shitload. Double is a lot. Alright, next. Strength Dexterity, Persistent Buff Gem. Mortar Cannon. Raises a cannon totem which can... Hello? Raises a cannon totem which uses scattered grenaded skills with significantly improved cooldown recovery rate. Totems? With grenades? What is this, a freaking war zone? Cannon warrior? No, man, this is too much. Like, bro, like, imagine playing totems, and then imagine playing grenades, and then imagine playing both of them at the same time. That's just not for me. And you know what? You know what these grenades should do? These grenades should freaking explode and spawn freaking minions on top of that. You're gonna play totem grenade minion build at the same time for ultimate freaking stage 4 cancer. Nah, man, I'm sorry. Go next. Added a new dexterity persistent buff gem, Mirage Archer. While active dodge rolling, will create a mirage that uses seconded range attacks for a short duration, then vanish. Oh, this is Bama from PoE 1. That's gonna be probably fun for what do you call it? For archers. For archers. Added a new intelligence persistent buff gem, Ravenous Swarm. While active, enemies are nearby. Swarms of instincts emerge from your body to pursue enemies. These swarms are untargetable minions that periodically attack and poison enemies within the swarm. Okay, I have to say, from all the minion builds, like this one's look like the coolest. You know, there's like a CRPG, Pathfinder, Wrath of the Righteous, and in this game could play as a swarm. Basically, I was a guy that didn't have a body and just like, you know, it was like a bunch of bugs destroying everything. That is kind of cool, man. That's a kind of cool idea. If you can scale that really hard and you just freaking kill everything with your bugs, that's kind of cool. I like that. I guess it's still minions, so rip, but I kind of like this idea. That's cool. It's insane how many ideas this company's. I don't know where they're getting their ideas from. I really don't. Add a new intelligence persistent buff gem, Siphon Elements. Excuse me. While active, has a chance to create an Effusion Remnant while you're free, shock or ignite. Okay. Grim Feast. has been completely reworked and re-enabled. Instead of granting energy shield, it allows to collect remnants as it's a minion skill. Just go next. Added a new Keystone passive to the northwest in the monk starting area. Hollow palm technique. Okay, so basically you're gonna, instead of using a staff, you're gonna be killing enemies with your fists, which is cool. You know, there's nothing better than just walking up to your opponents and freaking just beating the shit out of them with your fist, right? Unfortunately, something tells me that it's not gonna be like super high, super great. Because weapons scale really hard in this game. How much damage will you be able to get with your fist? I don't know. We'll see. Lee Sin, yeah, pretty much. Added new Keystone passive, Mike Tyson. Bro, if I'm gonna make like a freaking unarmed character, it's gonna be called Mike Tyson. I have a name for the character already. My thigh is impetuous, my defense is impregnable. And I'm gonna be talking like that all the freaking time. I'm gonna be lisping throughout the entire stream while playing this character. True story, man. Added a new Keystone passive skill to the northeast of the Witch Sorcerer's starting location in Ritual Cadence. This Keystone changes your invocation to trigger skills every 2 seconds instead of all at once. But trigger, I don't even know what that means, I'll be honest with you. Go to the gym, make big arms, hit hard. Yep. Does Lee Sin even have a fist move? I guess odd attacks, maybe, sometimes. Most of them are kicks, that's true. No, his E is a fist move. It's like he slams the ground and there's like this shockwave, right? The ability that slows. I think that's the fist move. For sure they have added unarmed uniques. Yeah, there's like they're like gloves I saw yesterday. Added a new Keystone passive skill to the northwest of the Witch, Black Flame Covenant. This Keystone converts fire... hold the phone. This Keystone converts fire damage to chaos damage, with this damage contributing to ignite chance and magnitude, and ignites inflicted with fire skills dealing chaos. Bro, like, I'm not overcooking. What do you guys think about, what are we thinking about Molten Blast converted to chaos damage with poison? And with Black Flame. With the ring. No? No, am I crazy? I might be crazy. Don't be shy too. I'm not gonna permaban anyone. If I'm crazy, then just let me know right now. I might be freaking, talking out of my ass. It's possible. New Keystone passive skill to the east of the monk started location, Walker of the Wilds, excuse me. Keystone causes mana leech to recover based on elemental damage type instead of physical damage. Okay, so you can... That's gonna be way too far from warrior though. We can forget about that. We still have blood magic though, at least. We can absolutely forget about this. This is east to the monk starting location. Bro, this is on the other side of the planet. If I'm like in Poland right now, this is freaking North America, pretty much. Just goodbye. Added following new currency orbs, etc. Okay, so we know about that. So they basically, long story short, they added new currency items that are the same items, the same currency like before, but the greater variations and perfect variations, which will basically add higher level of modifiers when you use them to craft. Which basically means that it's going to be easier to craft like good items. Copium, maybe. How rare perfect exalt will be. These perfect exalts and perfect chaos orbs, I think they're going to be very expensive. These transmutes and augmentations and regals, not necessarily. Not necessarily. I think that exalts and chaos orbs will be very expensive. I mean like very expensive. They're gonna be like equivalent of like basically finding a divine. Something tells me. One div, probably, yeah. How can we fight them? Just play the game, man. Just play the game. Late campaign to maps, yeah. Added a new type of currency, Hinterklaas Lock. That's for PoE 1 again. Can be used to foresee the result of the next currency item used on it. You basically turn into a prophet. Modifying the item in any way removes the ability to foresee. Yep. Over 10 uniques. Some of them were actually really cool looking. 50 new base item types. That's kind of interesting. If that means that there's no new classes in the game, right? Does that mean that they added new, more powerful bases compared to what we had before? I don't know. Added 20 new endgame maps. They said on the reveal yesterday that was like 24, I think, or something. I might be wrong. And added 15 new omens. Oh boy, ritual enjoyers, log in, dude. Log in, boys. Just buy perfect currencies for $5. Yeah, you can just freaking, you can just top up, I guess. Does your league start, sir? Seem like warrior got nerfed. If you think that I already know what I'm gonna league start with, then think again. It's probably way too early for me to say. Just drop a golden charm, wink wink. Here we go again, man. I thought we had that chapter of our lives behind us, but yeah, I was foolish to think so. Currently access the most. Okay, we have endgame changes. Access to most pinnacle content requires the same key at the easiest, the most difficult version of the content. This creates a negative feeling where at lower difficulties, instead of wanting to run the content, you're often better off just selling it to someone who can run maximum difficulty. True. Like me, for example, failing Arbiter of Hash 7 times. That was a freaking faithful stream that was freaking embarrassing. To address this, each content, excluding the Arbiter of Ash, will now drop splinters. Alright, so long story short, what happens is that now, when you start the encounter with the Pinnacle boss, you can choose if you want to spend 50 splinters for the easiest encounter, 75 for the medium difficulty, or 100 for the hardest. Or after that, maybe there's gonna be another one. I'm not sure, for like 200 or 300, I don't know. Which is really cool, because easy difficulty, yeah, that's probably from me. But that's really cool, because that means that you don't have to worry about respeccing the points all the time if you, for example, are not strong enough to deal 30 million damage on the, you know, Zest or something else. As a result of this change, the corresponding Atlas passive trees no longer affect the difficulty of the... Yeah, there we go. It has been changed to purely affect the content and maps of the Atlas. Existing simulacrums, breachstones, and others can be clicked to grant 100 splinters. Thank you. Arbiter of Ash boss fight is now a static difficulty encounter with infinite port... The Arbiter of Ash boss fight is now a static difficulty encounter with infinite portals. Previously, only infinite portals are 0 difficulty. At difficulty 0. The rewards of this fight now match the previous difficulty 4 rewards. The frick you mean? Does that mean that you cannot fail Arbiter? I mean, on paper you can fail because when you die, it resets to full HP. But you don't. You have infinite portals, and you don't lose experience fighting this guy. Huh? The Arbiter of Ash Atlas passive skills tree has been removed, and some of the bonuses have become inherent to the Arbiter of Ash drops. Imagine all the people that got into Arbiter fight, and you know they're not strong enough to do the fight, but they just keep on going. They keep on going for 20 hours, 24-hour stream, Arbiter all the time because they have infinite portals and there is no XP loss. I feel bad for these people. Added a Uber version of the Arbiter of the Ash boss fight, which requires a new Calamity fragments to access. These are obtained from the Citadel bosses, but only once you allocated the maximum number of points in your boss Atlas passive tree. Okay, so there's like Uber Arbiter basically, and this guy, if you fail, it's goodbye. You lost the fragments. That's interesting. I wonder what this guy is gonna be dropping. This is probably gonna be like the hardest content in the game right now, right? You do 24-hour. I mean, we'll see. If I'm gonna still feel like a human, not like a zombie after like 12 hours, then maybe. Acquiring map boss Atlas passive points has been adjusted. You're obtained by. I mean, I remember like once I was like literally streaming like this. My eyes like barely open. I was like freaking falling asleep. So might happen again. Slaying a map boss in area 79+, slaying a map boss in level 80+, anomaly boss in 79+, and Citadel map boss in 79+. It's gonna be very easy to get Atlas passive points now. Like very, very easy. Which is cool. you can actually learn to fight him for the Uber version. And how much you want to bet that the Uber version is going to have new mechanics, so you're not going to learn shit. Literally me watching you go through Act 3 for the 4th time. Adding that, and on top of that, my voice that apparently is good to fall asleep to, and you're just freaking, you're done. You're not watching my stream at all, if I'm doing the campaign again. Completing the Pinnacle of Flame quest, All Around Origin of the Fall no longer responds in logbooks, mysteries, blah blah, okay. Comes out on Friday, gonna be gaming all night after work. I'm gonna try to stay up as much as I can, but I don't know if I'm gonna do a 24-hour stream, but we're gonna, you know, we're gonna grind, boys. We're gonna grind for sure. Modifiers on Waystones has been reworked. New, okay, so basically what this is they changed how the end game is gonna work, how the modifiers on maps roll. They removed this stupid system where prefixes are good and suffixes are bad, or the vice versa. And now every modifier is going to increase the difficulty of the map, but at the same time increase the rewards. Which is, in my opinion, much freaking better than it was before. It's basically like PoE 1 now. The harder the map is, the more loot it's gonna have. That's it. So that's great. They're gonna add life nodes. I don't think so. Unless it's gonna be in the patch notes later on, but I don't think so. Downside modifiers has been made weaker to account for ability to have more than before, of course. Unidentified corrupted waystones cannot be used to access a corrupted nexus. Is corrupted nexus this like this like corrupted tower-ish something? Do I remember correctly? Waystones can no longer have greater than 8 modifiers when corrupted. Okay, so only 8. Were they capable of having more than 8? I don't remember that. Items found in very high level areas can now have random quality up to 30%. That's actually pretty big. That's really big because that's like way more energy shield, armor, evasion, and damage also. So that's pretty big. Quality currency still cannot apply more than 20%, okay? Items that can have a maximum of 2 sockets now have a very low chance of generating with 3 sockets in high tier maps. Alright, like this is actually like you guys don't understand how big of a buff that is late game. That is such a massive buff. If you're actually going to have the difference between a character that is well geared and doesn't have these quality modifiers and these extra sockets versus the character that has all of that shit, it's just going to be insane. That's going to be such a massive difference. These items, if you find like a white item with 28 plus quality and 3 sockets, you're freaking rich, bro. That's gonna be so freaking expensive. And really strong too. Especially now that you can craft more easily with essences and with greater and like perfect orbs, right? That's gonna be big. And the same for 1-socket items. So Abyss map has been remained to Marrow. Okay, thanks. Atlas Passive 3 changes, dating records, level expedition. There's some small changes to Ritual and Expedition, but yeah, it's like whatever. Okay, Rituals don't no longer have 30% increased chance to contain an audience with the king. Okay, that's fine. Is it going to be more expensive than Golden Charm? Huh. Like, it's gotta be as expensive as the subs that you gifted, pretty much. It's gotta be insane. Atlas Passive Tree, Essence Rework. Essences now have 4 tiers: Lesser, Normal, Greater, and Perfect. There we go. I think these are great changes because Lessers you're gonna find it during campaign and you will be able to use them on your shitty ass freaking blue items, which we're probably gonna have all of them because we're not gonna find any rares. So that's gonna be useful. Instead of adding modifier to a certain tag, Essence is now going to specific modifier depending on their tier essence and type of the item being applied to. That's really good. Basically, guys, you've noticed the pattern here. The PoE 1 players, they're pretty much like importing everything from PoE 1 and making it work in PoE 2 like it works in PoE 1. That's pretty much what they're doing. This is like another mechanic that basically importing from PoE 1. Yeah, quote new. We played our game, finally realized it was shit. Q&A was amazing. I didn't see it because I just went to bed, but I was tired. But I might watch it, like, you know, later, maybe on the second monitor or something. Bada beam, bada boom. Perfect essences. An essence obtained through corruption. Remove a random modifier and augments a rare item with a new guaranteed modifier. New types of essences. 7 is a lot. And yeah, I'm really curious what there are, because there might be some even build enabling essences there. Some of them are probably going to be pretty strong. General improvements. Unique strongholds that have unique minimap icons. Great. That's whatever. Delvin. That's whatever. As Mary. Wait. Halt. During the campaign, after the first time you encounter him. Whatever. As long as you don't make Asmeri spirits faster. Please just tell me that you made them faster. Please tell me that they will not freaking act as freaking drug addicts on LSD or something. Please. Just walk in a straight line and freaking go faster, man. That's all I'm asking for. Skill and persistent buff gems now sell to vendors for gold based on their level and quality. Sure, whatever. The hooded one can replace in your hideout. That's whatever. Certain boss arena entrances no longer have teleport for party members after the fight has started. These players can instead just walk in. Boss arena entrances no longer have a teleport for party. Oh, they can just walk in. Oh, that's great. Thanks. You are now able to log in directly into town hideout by holding control while selecting a character. Oh, so when you like in a sticky situation and you log out, you can just control and you just spawn in town. You don't have to wait like 10 or 15 minutes. That's kind of cool. They added sprinting for the Wisp Hunt. No, they did add sprint for characters, but for the Wisp Hunt, like as long as the spirits will move faster, my life is complete. I can die happy. You can now use the checkpoints to warp at the waypoint in the area as well as other checkpoints. Thanks. Omens now can stack with maximum stack of 10. Thanks. Orb of Chance has received new 3D art. Thanks. Alright, that's not that important. Uncut skill of support and the reservation gems are going to be traded through the currency exchange. That's amazing. That's actually huge, man. Like, I don't have to freaking pick them up anymore, man. Like, I can just buy as many as I want. That's crazy good. Party members can no longer fruitlessly attempt to open expedition portals. And Nvidia, great. They removed Inferno Clasp? We didn't get to that. I don't think so. And Deepest Tower? No, please, no. Like, if that's true, that means that the Smith of Kitava, like Will Smith, is dead. Not the actor, right? My build is dead. just to avoid the confusion. Not the man in black, the man in, you know, the man in full plate. When holding down the dodge roll, player changes. Your character now goes a spear, sprint. Yeah, so sprint is in the game, boys. You can just sprint, but be careful. If you're sprinting and you're gonna get hit, you get heavy stunned, I do believe. Which means that you're dead. Pretty much 100% dead. So, but running through like, you know, backtracking, basically, this is gonna be useful. Unless you just leap slam as always. We're gonna leap slam anyway. We're gonna leap slam all the time, boys. The primary purpose of this sprint was navigating. Yeah, you can no longer suck at multiple copies of the same skill gem. Oh, I didn't see that. So there's only one. There's only one skill. You can only suck at one skill a single time. Is that what it means? Nerf to meta gems. I only scrolled through the patch notes before. I do think they nerfed them a little bit. Yes. Attribute requirements, that's good. About 20 to 25% less attribute requirements on gems and items. That's great. Because attributes were actually a problem to the point where you really had to go out of your way to fit in, for example, flammability or anything in something like Titan. So, or like a warrior, or like, you know, anything else. Fire damage no longer inherently has a chance to ignite. Instead, it inflicts flammability on the enemy based on the damage dealt. Flammability is a debuff that lasts for 4 seconds and grants all fire damage against an enemy a chance to ignite that enemy equal to their flammability magnitude. Multiple hits can stack up flammability independently, meaning that the target being hit frequently or hard enough will consistently have a 100% chance to be ignited. These changes do not affect how Ignite itself functions or is calculated once it has been applied. Alright, I wonder what is the purpose of these changes. So I feel like, correct me if I'm wrong, but it kind of feels like they're only going to make the way you apply Ignite a little bit more confusing and convoluted. I think it was pretty simple before. You just hit hard enough, and if you meet the threshold, then you just ignite the enemy, right? And you can increase that chance by increasing chance to ignite on the tree and, you know, other places. Second nerf to ignite. It seems like the damage is the same. Let me read that again. Fire damage no longer has a chance to ignite. Okay. Instead, it inflicts flammability based on the damage dealt. Lasts for 4 seconds and grants all fire damage against the enemy a chance to ignite based on their flammability. It's kind of the same. Now the first hit can still ignite. Seems like. Multiple hits can stack flammability, meaning that the target being hit frequently or hard enough will consistently have effects which don't hit but ignite targets as though they did. Also inflict flammability. Anything that removes, consumes, grants immunity to ignite does the same for flammability. Isn't there a node for a warrior that causes your hits to ignite always? There is not. There isn't. And I guess we'll have to test it in practice, but to me kind of sounds... It kind of sounds like it's going to be almost the same, but more convoluted. Like, you don't have, like, your hit does not have... I mean, in a way, I get it. No, this is... To me, that means that you basically will be able to ignite with smaller hits too. Because let's just say you hit hard, but what does it matter? Your strongest ignite is gonna work anyway at the time. I have to take a look at the new passive tree after this, yeah. I don't think that it's released, to be honest, so we'll have to wait to see the passive tree probably for, like, you know, for a couple days. Maybe they're gonna determine that before the release, but, you know, we'll see. If the initial hit causes the debuff, you just do it again to ignite. Like, what the hell is this confusing? I'm not sure, man. I bet, like, this is just like me being a smooth brain, and someone with, like, more brain capacity is gonna explain that very quickly. But but it's just me, guys. You know me, right? Okay, so these changes also apply to any other non-fire damage that becomes capable of igniting, and to enemies. Some enemies deal non-ignite fire damage over time, which is not affected by these changes. Okay, I get it. I don't know what these sources are, but I guess if they're saying that there's something like that, then I guess. It just seems like they don't want to ignite off your first hit, even all damage converted from the node. I mean, in a way that if you won't be able to ignite on the first hit, in a way I understand that, because you know, like, the best, pretty much best warrior build in the game was converting everything as much as you can to fire and using Infernal Cry and then igniting the enemy. And then for the most part you would just one-shot every boss in the game, or 2-shot or 3-shot, depending on what your gear was. So I guess they're trying to make some changes to maybe, like, mitigate that gameplay. Or 4-shot. True. And then after 4 shots, it drops the golden charm, unique golden charm. Shock now lasts 8 seconds on non-players by default, previously 4 seconds. It still lasts 4 seconds on players. That's kind of cool. I like that. Chill now 8 seconds. Okay, so the debuff is going to be longer. 2 seconds on players. Chills on any target are now discarded if their magnitude is less than 30%. Overflow effects on life, mana, and energy shield can now overflow the maximum by up to 1.5 times from 2. Oof. Oof. Oh. Damn. You know, this unique armor, that some people were curious if they want to use that armor that was reducing your life by like a lot, but it allowed your leech to like overflow or something like this. This is probably like the worst item in the game now. I wonder if this works on Meditate, on Monk, on Invoker. Does this count as overflow? It does? Oh shit. But Meditate was buffed. Yeah, but what could have they done to mitigate this big of a freaking loss? That is a big nerf, man. That is freaking massive nerf. That is 25% less, basically total ES for Invoker. Light stun chances less than 50% on a tree, that's 0. Previously described as less than, they're actually less than 20% for monsters being stunned. So if you're basically, that means that if you're very resilient to stun, you cannot be stunned at all, because it's never going to work. I don't know. Elemental exposure now has 50% less effect on magic monsters, 30% less on rare monsters, 50% less on unique monsters. Bro, like, you guys don't understand how expensive this support is gonna be that inverts the resistances of monsters. This support is gonna be like 200 divines. Support's gonna be like so freaking expensive. Because it seems like they reduced, generally speaking, the ability to like lower the resistances of monsters. I know there's gonna be a change down there that says that the effect of curses on bosses is reduced by 50% as well. It's not reduced, it's 50% less. So it's gonna be hard to drop them to 0. Which means that you can just use the support and they're gonna have minus 75 instead. Which is really balanced, by the way. Unarmed attacks now have base critical chance of 5, previously none. Huh. Unarmed attacks couldn't crit. You can discriminate freaking fist users that much. Glory now decays if you haven't gained any for 15 seconds, previously 30 seconds. Oh yeah, I bet that Glory was one mechanic that needed nerfs, GGG. Because everyone loved Glory so much. They loved to use their abilities, and they're just looking up in the sky and, please give me Glory! But like, at the end of the day, you still could freaking never use these freaking Glory abilities because you just don't generate Glory at all, man. Like, I don't know. Keep hitting Jason Bourne. Nah, I mean, I'm pretty sure that all of our builds are dead. Maybe not all of them, because I made like 10 warrior builds, but we'll see. All grounds duration is now refreshed from catches work. Great. Gaining guard. While you already have guard, no longer replaces an existing guard buff if the new amount of guard you would gain would be lower than you already had. Instead, the duration of the existing guard buff is extended. Okay, so that's really that's a decent combo with the armored cry or whatever it was called that they added to the game. This could be a really good like defensive layer for Warbringers. Honestly, using this war cry could be pretty strong. Ice crystals will now instantly shatter from hits that could consume freeze. Okay, whatever. I'm gonna go a little bit faster because it's gonna take forever, boys. Add a new mechanic called Elemental Infusion that... okay, great. Following have been renamed to Infusion, great. Amazon's Infuse were great. Okay, so all these guys got renamed, that's all. Okay, hold on. Hold the phone. Blocking is no longer limited to strikes and projectiles by default. All hits are not specifically unblockable with the red flash can be blocked. Excuse you? I beg your pardon? You can block everything now except for the red flash abilities? Huh? Damn, son. That's pretty busted, man. But I mean, keep reading. Okay. Raise, shield, and parry now require you to face the enemy that is hitting you rather than the direction from the hit. Raise, shield, and parry. Nobody's gonna use that. Player minion monster base 50%. That's it. You know, on paper you could say that 50% block chance with basically Turtle Charm. 50% block chance with Turtle Charm. And I'm assuming you will not need a lot of investment to get to 50% block chance. That is still pretty decent, right? If you're wearing a shield, you're not gonna have to invest a lot to get that at all. But at the same time, 50% is 2 times less than 75, so that's big. Effects which set a maximum for volatility. Now, okay, that's the chaos thing. Players now gain +6 accuracy per level, previously +3. Each point of dexterity grants +6. That's gonna help. That's like +300 accuracy on a warrior, like level 100, which you're never gonna get. But you know, level 95, that's gonna be like what, 285, decent. Accuracy fall-off penalty now linearly interpolates from 2 meters down to 12 meters. The maximum penalty being 90% less accuracy rating at distances of 9 meters or further. Previously there was no maximum, and at 14 meters you had 100% less accuracy rating. That sucks. You know, with like super big AoE abilities, that means that the enemies at the edges will basically never be able to get hit. Unless this doesn't work on melee attacks, and it only works on projectiles. But it doesn't say so. Like, you know, like, look at this, right? Let's just say that, like, I'm over here, right? I'm this square. And I freaking leap slam, right? And the leap slam, like, reaches this side over here. It goes like this, right? It goes like this. Does that mean... Open paint? Bro, like, I haven't used that in freaking... since I was a kid, like, it's been like 20 years. Okay, let's just say that I'm over here, right? This is me. Damn, I'm so handsome. And, let's just say that I leap slam, right? And boom. You leap slam, and the area is something like this. Does that mean that in this, like, over here, in this circle, something like that, I'm gonna always hit the enemies, and the further it goes from that, the lower my chance to hit is going to be. Here, I'm almost never gonna hit them anymore. Hottest circle I've ever seen. Bro, like, please, man. Like, it's not important right now. Does that mean that? Or am I tripping? Okay. I'm not gonna let you guys watch that anymore because I'm embarrassed. I don't think you worry about that if your hits always hit. Yeah, but they're not going to, because there is a very sad change coming in. You just don't crit. Oh yeah? And you want to see what's next over there? Just freaking wait. Player minions now always hit with their attacks. That's freaking bullshit. Why minions? Why not me? Player projectile skills will always fire a minimum of 1 projectile, even if they should fire 0. Okay, swapping weapons is now instant. That's a nice change. That's good for the what was its name? Jason Bourne? No. Will Smith? No. Molten Titan? No. The Icebringer. The Icebringer. Swapping weapons is instant. That's cool. All charge-consuming skills now pause their corresponding charge duration while in use. That's whatever. Elemental damage recouped as life and physical damage recouped as life now displayed in the life section of the character panel. That's gonna be useful, honestly. I like this change. Clarify the stun keyword. That's Okay, that's only a description change, whatever. Updated, okay. There we go. Ascendancy changes, boys. Damn. I'm freaking scared just to read these. Alright, answer called notable passive skill now also provides +1 maximum totems of summon totems. +1. Let's go. Log in, dude. The Ancestral Spirit's skill granted by Ancestor Call, Answer Call. Notable passive skill no longer grants minions from skills have 1% increase. Blah, blah. Instead, minions from the skill now have 1% increase attack speed. So that's a buff for the minions from this skill, which I have no idea what it does because it's minions. Fair enough. The Great Wolf Howl notable passive skill has been removed, and the Warcaller's Bellow notable now also provides ignore Warcry cooldowns. What the frick, man? We just gained... Warbringer just gained 2 freaking Ascendancy points for free. Huh? For free, man. So you could, for example, get all this shit. And the totems. And the extra totem. Up on the Warbringer. The Renly's training notable passive skill now grants... Uh-oh. The Renly's training notable passive now grants gain 35% base chance to block from equipped shield instead of the shield's value. Previously 40%. And Turtle's Charm no longer has the penalty. It cannot block all the hits because everyone has that now. But instead, it now provides you take 30% of damage from block hits, and the maximum block chance is back to 75%. Alright, let me get this straight. So Warbringer, it doesn't have this stupid penalty, so it's not going to be as hard to get to 75% block chance. And he can still block everything. Every hit. But he takes 30% damage from block hits. That's the issue. I mean, honestly, I think that all in all, it's still a win, probably. They want you to do that, do the tank build. I will. Like, you know, I lied before. I said that I don't know what I'm gonna start with, but I'm pretty sure I have an idea what I want to start with. So, and we're definitely gonna get tanky. I know that people love tanky builds. People hate to die in ARPGs, even in softcore. I'm gonna freaking, you guys want some tankiness? I'm gonna freaking deliver. We're gonna get tanky, alright? I think that overall, these changes for Warbringer are pretty good. Honestly, as long as you block, even if you have to take 30% of that damage from block hits, I don't think that's a big deal. That means that you have 70% damage reduction when you block, and you still get to have 75% block on Warbringer. I think that's pretty good. Stacks of Jade granted by the Jade Heritage notable passive skill are no longer lost when taking physical damage from a hit. That's really good. That means that you have with Jade, you have permanent physical damage reduction, 10%. That's good. That's really good. For 2 points, I would take that. That works really well with if you want to stack a little bit of armor too. And you probably will get armor on Warbringer because you're using a shield, for sure. We're playing Warbringer first thing. We'll see. I'm not gonna spoil anything for now. Yeah, in real life I can one-shot things. It's boring, but being tanky is nice. Yeah, in real life I can one-shot things. What can you one-shot, man? Like someone that walks up to you, what's up, homie? Ah, freaking one-shot, next. Still, Giant's Blood is an issue. No spoilers, guys! I'll get to this. Ancestral Spirit from the Ancestral Call notable passive skill have been also improved. Now they appear faster and start using skills sooner. And these are the minions. I mean, I'm not gonna use that. I mean, I'm not gonna use this. Overall, I think that Warbringer probably looks better, in all honesty. I think it looks. I think honestly it got buffed. All right, Smith of Kitava. The Flowing Metal notable passive skill now causes body armor to grant 35% of armor, also applied to elemental damage from hits instead of plus 5 max fire. Damn it, man. I mean, that's not bad. That's not bad at all, but +5 fire, +5 max, man. That's not bad though. It's not a bad skill. Leather bindings, the regeneration went from 5 to 3%. That sucks. That's a big nerf. That's 66% nerf. Manifest weapon granted by the... Okay, am I reading this, guys? Let's be honest. Increased accuracy rating. Instead, it will have attack speed. So basically the same changes here because minions always hit now. Nice. The small passive skills providing fire resistance now have values of 8%. That's a bitch move. That's a bitch move. GG, like, why did you have to freaking nerf resistance, man? That's that's one part that felt really good because during the campaign you had like freaking max res on Will Smith, right? That's a bitch move. I don't like that. The small passive skill prior to living weapon now grants 5% increased strength instead of minions deal 20% increased damage. Bro, I might take it. I might take it as a small part. No, I'm just kidding. No, it's not worth it. But I mean, the small passive is definitely better than before. But anyway, we lost +5 maximum fire resistance. Someone told me in the chat before that they removed Infernal Clasp. Long story short, how the hell are you supposed to get to 90 always on this character right now? Huh? Okay, you can get 3% on the belt's corruption. You can get 3% corruption. You can probably get like +4% from the passive tree. Maybe 5. Maybe 5. Without like super high investment. So that's 8. Then you can get, let's just say +4% from jewels. That's 12. Okay, I guess you're already sitting at 87. You're already getting pretty close. That's already pretty good, honestly. I can't argue with that. I can't argue with that. Why they remove the belt, man? Because they thought, 90 all resistance too strong. This guy, Will Smith, doesn't die to anything. Like, that's probably what they thought, man. I'm saying, man, that's a bitch move. This 90 all res, sure, they nerfed the penetration and minus max pretty hard. So 90 all res is gonna feel really, really strong now. 90 all res is gonna be really strong. But still, man, like, if your entire Ascendancy is balanced, I mean, its power comes from defense, then why do you want to nerf this defense? Come on, man, like, defense is good, but it's not like, you know, it's not broken, right? You don't have damage still from the Ascendancy, so like, at least it should be strong defensively, am I right? I think I'm right, guys. That being said, again, if you're stacking armor on Will Smith, and you're gonna get fire resistance from other sources, that's kind of busted, though. And other than that, there is no changes. Okay, you lost just like freaking a little bit of fire resistance, that's it. And after that, you kind of freaking golden, bro. You're still golden after that. You get this, which is huge. You still get 20% strength. You still get 50% life. And you can still pick one node after that. Probably not regen anymore because it got cocked really hard. But you can still get, I don't know, 75% fire res after that if you want. You can still get the mini Cloak of Flames, which, by the way, this is probably what you're gonna get. Mini Cloak of Flames is probably what you're gonna get. Like, if you're gonna find other sources to get 90 all res, this guy might be even tankier than before, now that I think about it. With this. 35 is a lot. They showed on the showcase yesterday, and notable, and this notable was only 15%. That is 35. Depending on how hard it is going to be to get this stat, though. Depending on how hard it is going to get this. Well, with 90 all res, bro, nothing's gonna touch you. Armor ally resistance shit applies before resistance unless I'm missing something. It does, but it's still damage reduction. Like, if it applied after, that would be completely busted. Like, elemental damage would be doing exactly that much damage to you. So it has to be before. There is no other options. I don't think it's that bad. I think they made Smith, which I don't think is the correct direction, but I think they made Smith like more annoying early on, because early on it felt really good to play Smith because you get so much res for free so quickly. You just get the belt, you get some passives, boom, you have 90 all res, like day one. Literally day one or day two, you have 90 all res. And boom, you're done. You're not taking damage from elemental anymore. Kitava armor applies to chaos hit. That would be pretty good too. Although I don't think that chaos is going to be that big of a problem. Alright, let's go next. Gemling Legionnaire. Nerfed the racers. I wonder what Angormus. It's like Angormus, few days before the patch notes, actually we talked a little bit. We were thinking what we're going to play and what changes there will be. I wonder what his opinion is on these changes. Because he's an expert, right? He's like the best racer in PoE too, so I wonder what he has to say. I need to talk to him off stream. Advanced Thaumaturgy, less cost, more attribute requirements, bada beam. Instead, it grants a buff. Causes you to passively generate power, frenzy or endurance charges once every 8 seconds. Is determined by the attribute requirements, socketed skill gems. That's kind of cool. That would be pretty decent, I guess, for many skills, honestly, for many classes. That would be pretty cool. Gem studded notable passive no longer grants you can use each type of support gem additional time in different skills. Instead, it now provides for each color of socketed gem that is most numerous gain. Okay, so you get less cost, less movement speed penalty, or you can get crit. That's pretty freaking strong defensively, honestly. That's pretty big. You just straight up don't take extra damage from crits. Damn. That's cool because you also completely ignore the map mods that have like extra crit damage, extra crit chance. It's pretty good. Almost said Smith is still good for campaign, but endgame is dog shit. That's funny because I have to say I think I disagree with that. I think that these changes are more or less making his campaign worse. And it's going to be more annoying early on. But late game, he's still going to be like a tank powerhouse. That's what I think. So it's kind of the opposite of what he thinks. Which I might be totally wrong. I might be 100% wrong on this. Just my opinion. I like Tactician. The cannon's ready notable passive skill now also provides +1 maximum number of totems. What is the totems, man? Totem meta or what? Right where... I'm so glad I made a totem build before because now at least I know how it works. The right where we want them notable passive skill now grants projectile... Okay, it's projectiles. Polish that gear. Notable passive skill now provides gain deflection rating equal to 20% armor and no longer grants 100% armor extra stun threshold. Blah, blah. Okay. Suppressing pin immobilization, that's whatever. Supporting fire, unleash hell, notable minions. This is for minions, this is the same thing as before. Whoever pays best notable passive skill now provides there is no limit number of banners you can play. Whoever pays best notable passive skill now provides there is no limit on the number of banners you can place, and banners gain 5 glory per second. The frick? Is that the most broken skill in the game or what? Okay. Gain what? So here's the thing. As I said before, I went through these changes quickly earlier, and I saw that banners got giga buffed. Banners are, if you can actually place them, they're OP as hell. And this guy, but what you have to do to place a banner is you need to generate this glory thing once again. And apparently this guy has no limit to the number of banners he can place, and on top of that he gets glory for free. The frick is this? That sounds like the most OP thing in the game right now. These banners are so freaking stupid strong. We're gonna get to that soon. Holy smokes, man. Added new strategic embankments. Notable skill which required cannons ready. Essential warrior totem increased glory generation. Great. Immobilization declares that. Okay, that's whatever. It's like some basic stuff. Most broken if 3 glory is good. Generation. I'm kind of curious now. That sounds so overpowered. Because these banners are so strong, man. You just place a banner and boom, like you can just, you know, it's over. that didn't look good. Sorry for that. Ritualist, as the Whispers ask, notable passive skill has been removed, and they ask of the. Okay, whatever. The Will with Persistence, notable passive skill now grants 10% increased life recovery rate per 5% missing and reserved life. That got doubled. Finds power giving you perma 30 mess now. I think is fine. I think. No, but you're not gonna like use them permanently, right? That's not gonna happen. But against like. I mean, we'll see, man. Amazon. Critical strike, notable passive gain, additional critical 15% from 25. Ooh. Amazon's getting hit pretty hard here, man. Amazon's getting hit pretty hard. Sustainable practices, notable for Pathfinder. Passive now grants 50% evasion rating, also grants elemental damage reduction. Previously 30%. What a massive buff. What the freak, man. That's such a ginormous buff. Pathfinder is still bad. Bro, you're gonna see how broken Pathfinder is gonna be, like literally turbo stacking evasion. Because now evasion has this mechanic. If you don't, like, you can reduce the damage, right? Or something. So, this with the damage reduction, with the evasion grants elemental damage reduction at the same time. That's gonna be busted. Yeah, with deflect, yeah. That's gonna be freaking OP defensively. That's gonna be so strong. And keep in mind, you don't necessarily have to invest into dexterity as Pathfinder. You can just stack strength and get life on top of that. Or energy shield, which probably is gonna be... Yo, energy shield with evasion with this damage reduction is gonna be broken, bro. His ES didn't get nerfs. Hell, ES got freaking buffed. Because there's 30% quality bases now with 3 sockets. So ES got buffed, bro. That's gonna be disgusting. Okay, I gotta be honest with you guys. I cannot force myself to read through all these concoctions because I don't know what they do anyway. So, this change though, I'm assuming that Pathfinder is not forced every time to use concoctions. So if you don't want to be using concoctions and you want to just this for like defensive stuff and other stuff that Pathfinder has, I'm pretty sure that it's pretty potent. It's pretty potent right here. Deadeye. Can't have both evasion, deflect, and shield, no? Why not? Just go hybrid bases. Or like get a little bit of shield and a little bit of life and you're freaking golden. Why not? Deflect is like a sub-skill. Just like for armor, you can stack your armor applies to elemental damage taken. The same way you can do with evasion. That's the same. Deflect is the same thing. So you will be able to stack all 3 of these if you want. 100%. But of course you have to solve your damage somehow. No longer grants 30% maximum frenzy charge when you gain a frenzy charge. Instead it grants 50% chance to gain blah 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 blah. That's I don't know, you have to ask Snoo, I guess. Or someone else who plays Ranger. If that's a big change. That honestly sounds like probably a small nerf. That's probably a nerf, but I don't know. Cold Shot's notable, no longer lets you apply additional mark. Instead, it causes your projectiles to chain to marked enemies and grants new Cold Shot meta skill that repeatedly marks enemies near you, bypassing your mark limit. I don't know, that sounds pretty strong. Deadeye is Z tier still. Eagle Eye, I don't know. The opinions of experts are divided because I was reading like Reddit or somewhere else, and on Reddit they were saying that Deadeye is the best now. So, how does that work? So basically, there's the skill, and it doesn't allow you to apply additional mark, which you had 2 previously. Instead, your projectiles will chain to marked enemies, and there's like a new meta skill that you're gonna get thanks to this, and it will permanently mark enemies around you, which will bypass your mark limit at the same time. So basically, this is like an improved version of what it was before. Because you will get this mark, whatever that's going to be. And on top of that, you get additional chain mechanic. Which, again, I don't know exactly how it looked before, but I think it's going to be, like, better. That sounds like Jason Bourne aura. Not quite, but I was looking at the curse changes before the stream, and I was thinking about reviving Jason Bourne for a second, but I don't know if it's going to work. Because it got nerfed way too hard in 0.2, but we'll see. Maybe over time we're going to get to some curse build, I don't know. Eagle Eye, notable passive skill, no longer removes the distance-based accuracy penalty. Instead, it applies 20 stacks of critical weakness to enemies when you consume a mark on them. Wow. That's a lot of damage. Holy smokes. That's up, nice. Rip Warrior. It's not looking that bad. From the Warrior, from my read so far, I think that Warbringer is honestly better than before. And Smith... Smith is, we're not talking about that. Deadeye Invoker. So this Elemental Expression skill is going to do more damage. I don't know if anyone's going to use that still. The Meditate. Okay, so the meditation buffs that someone mentioned before. Cooldown is lower. It's really low, actually. 5 seconds only. That's really low. You can actually probably do that in the boss fight pretty easily now. And Meditate now provides 100% more energy shield recharge rate. So you just freaking recharge to full instantly, like this. But of course, you can only recharge to up to 1.5 of your maximum ES now, not two times. So that's huge. Chayula Monk. I'm not gonna understand what these changes are anyway. I haven't played this class a single time, so I'm not gonna understand it anyway, guys. Chayula looks shitty still. I mean, let's try to understand. Has been remained and no longer grants chance to gain a percentage of damage with hits as extra chaos damage. Instead, it now grants leech recovers based on chaos damage as well as physical damage. That sounds really shit, to be honest. You lost damage to be able to leech with chaos as well as physical. I don't know. Instead of being a multi-choice, notable with the following choices. Choice of life, all flames of Chayula Humanis are red. All are blue and all are purple. That's a good change, because that you can actually deterministically... That's a very good change. I still don't like this, you know, pick up the freaking flames all the time mechanic, but at least you can like deterministically change these flames to something that is good for your build. So I think that's a good change. Waking Dream, notable passive skill, now grants remnant spawn to support skills at 50% increased effect. Okay. Okay, wasn't that double effect? Now it's 50%? I don't know. Grasp with the Void, notable passive skill has been renamed to Illusory Void. It no longer requires Embrace Darkness. It no longer provides gain 1% extra chaos damage per 20 unreserved darkness. It instead grants a new skill, Void of Illusion. For someone that doesn't play these classes, that freaking tells a lot. Embrace Darkness, notable passive skill, has now Darkness Reservation, lasts for 5 seconds, previously 10. Okay, so I guess the Reservation skill, which was the worst skill in the game, got buffed by 100%, which is cool. It's probably still not great. The Inner Silence, notable passive skill, has been renamed to Deepening Shadows, and no longer grants 50% reduced darkness reservation duration. Instead, it now grants 1% increased maximum darkness per 1% character. Bro, it's all about void, darkness, freaking shadows, and like, bro, the shadows of my freaking brain deepen after reading all these changes, man. I'm freaking done with Chunk. I'm done, boys. I don't understand what that means anyway. Let's go further. Alright, so the Blood Mage is better now because the first 2 points are not a nerf. So that's kind of cool. Free to allocate. The Gore Spike, this got nerfed? Okay. The Between the Cracks notable passive skill now remain to Sanguine Tides. No longer provides critical hits, ignore monster armor. Oh, that's really bad for bleed builds, is it not? Instead, it now provide... No, I'm not sure. Crit scale too hard in this game? True. I think that crit overall should be nerfed a little bit. I think that, generally speaking, so far, the conclusion I get from these patch notes is that they are nerfing damage and they are giving us defensive options. And I have to say, I really like that direction. I think that we had too much damage in this game for players and for monsters. And I think nerfing player damage and increasing our tankiness and giving us options for tankiness is a good way to go. Good way to do things. And good way to balance that. I never understood before how Jonathan was always saying that, oh, we want PoE 2 to be slow-paced and like methodical combat and stuff like that, when everything one-shots everything. Yeah, that makes so much sense. At least now it kind of makes sense, right? They're trying to, like, you know, to like make the combat a little bit more methodical when not everything explodes. But I got scared checking your YouTube channel. I thought you disappeared or something. Nah, there was like in past month there was like a lot of going on. I was playing Torchlight Infinite in the meantime, and I actually hit rank 1 in that game because I was freaking playing a lot. Then my PC broke down. I had to buy a new PC basically, which I wanted to do anyway before PoE 2, but I guess that kind of accelerated the process. And then I was, you know, finishing the project for PoE 1, so it's like a lot happened, but I'm, you know, I'm ready to freaking no life PoE 2 now, I guess. Make content as well. So yeah, so Blood Mage overall nerfed a little bit, but honestly not a big deal. Infernalist, Demon Form, I think. Honestly, I have no idea if that's gonna be a nerf or a buff. Lich, Chronomancer. It's gonna take forever before we read that, so we're just gonna, you know, we are in the middle, boys. We are in the freaking middle only. It's just, you know, my fault for reading them so slow, so my apologies. Okay, let's read Stormreaver though, because that's one actually that's kind of interesting. Meteor Storm granted by the cooldown lowered 3 seconds, previously 5. I don't even know what that is. Rain Dancer notable passive skill remained to multiplying squalls and no longer provides 150 more cooldown recovery from Meteor Storm. I don't know what that is. No longer grants 1% increased effect of Arcane Search per 25 max mana. Instead, now grants 20% of damage taken from mana before life, 20% increased magnitude of Arcane Search for per 10% missing mana. Interesting. So kind of you would want to sit on low mana as often as possible with this. So Archmage, I guess, is the way for this character. Scarring Wind's notable passive now remain to Storm Recollection. Now no longer grants exposure. You inflict lowers affected resistance by additional. Okay. Alright. Basic stuff. Elemental Equilibrium passive tree changes. Passive skill has redesigned. It now causes infusion remnants to create to be random elements. I don't care. The Eternal Youth Keystone passive skill no longer causes your life flask to recover energy shield instead, and now causes your life flasks to have 50% less recovery. What does that mean? So it doesn't do this anymore, and it just has 50% life flask less, like, recovery? Like, got it? It has to do something else too, right? What's up, Klimono? Giant's Blood Keystone passive skill now... Sorry guys, I just had to bring the water. I just had to bring the water over here. Sorry for that. That's I don't know. Let me read the chat. We hate warriors in this bitch. Barely hit 5k HP with 600 strength when they do this. 5k? I could like barely like get 4.5 on my builds. Like 5k with like some crazy gear. If you're like really trying to squeeze this lemon, then maybe you're gonna get that, but holy smokes, man. Wait, what was this? Resolute technique, Keystone passive skill now grants accuracy rating is double instead of hits. You cannot be evaded. What? I mean, that expresses like better than words my feelings on these changes, man. You know what's the biggest problem about this? You know what's the absolute biggest problem? Wait, never mind. No, we're actually good. No, we're actually never mind. I thought for some reason that the Icebringer couldn't play without this, but no, Icebringer now is actually even better because they increase the accuracy per level, and you don't have to invest into any accuracy. You always crit with Nebulok. So never mind. This change doesn't matter. I think we're fine. I think we're fine actually. Although this is a nerf, for sure. But I think this is fine. What's up, Kazane? We still can't crit though. No, we can. No, if you allocate this, you can't. But I think that this is not going to be that big of a problem because you can just invest like 10 spirit into precision. You're going to get 30% increased accuracy. And to literally get like accuracy anywhere on your gear. And I think you're golden now. So you don't even need this. I think this... no, I think it's going to be fine. Glancing blows, get screwed, freaking... What is this shield that gives you fire damage based on your block? This shield is so freaking dead, it's crazy. The funniest part about this is that I thought that this shield was already bad, and now it's completely freaking dead. Oh, Chernobox, there we go. The shield is deader than dead. It's dead as shit. It's like dead. One dead is not enough to freaking describe how dead this shield is. Yeah, I think we're golden with accuracy. I think we're cute. Cute. We're fine. Alright, added 8 clusters. Man, I'm so freaking interested to see these clusters, man. Can anyone like freaking data mine the new clusters or something so I can see? Please. Please. Cherry on top, please, someone. Just give me the passives. Sources of increased area of effect have lowered by approximately 20. You son of a bitch. Alright, but you can freaking lower my life. You can lower my accuracy, but freaking don't touch my area, man. Oh. 25? You know how much 25% is, GG? That's like 5 times 5, man. Come on, man. 25, my freaking asshole, dude. You know what the biggest problem is? I'll tell you what the problem is. On Titan, Titan can handle this. Titan doesn't care that much. Because Titan gets hulking form. So Titan is still gonna have more area than other classes before the change. If you played Will Smith, you're still gonna have more area than on Titan than you had on Will Smith before this patch. The problem is anyone besides Titan. That's the freaking problem. On the Warbringer and on the Will Smith, you're freaking screwed, bro. Unless you're just like clearing, like, I don't know, you like in a different way. I don't know. The good news is that you can use every support now as many times as you want. So on paper, you could like get AoE into every skill if you want. That's kind of cool. But frick me, man. Come on, dude. 25%, bro. 25. Approximately 25. You know what the bitch move is gonna be? We said, oh, well, approximately 25, but at the end of the day, it got reduced by 30% because we said approximately. Piece of shit, dude. Wait till you see Perfect Strike, guys. Like, just freaking no, man. I don't wanna read. Like, I'm playing League, bro. I don't wanna read the rest of these changes. Screw this. Okay, we're gonna play League later. Passive skill tree changes. Oh, okay. We read that already. That was a walk of shame, man. Skill changes. The base damage of all players' secondary damage skills have been tweaked to scale better in the late game. Buffs for spells, of course. Generally speaking, spells that do not have damage number changes out be near identical base damage at low levels. Roughly 5% more damage and roughly 20% more damage. Yeah, of course. We love spells. Don't we? Mana cost growth of all skills has been rebalanced. Generally speaking, skills... generally speaking is my favorite freaking phrase. What is this? Skills will have similar mana cost at low gem levels, potentially slightly higher mana cost at some intermediate levels, and lower mana cost sometimes dramatically lower at gem level higher than 20. That means that I will have enough mana to use my ability once now? Thanks, man. I'm still going Blood Magic, I'm sorry. Banners no longer gain Valor or have any other Valor-related stats, but instead generate Glory when you attack enemies. They all require 200 Glory to place. How much? Unlike other Glory-based skills, banners can gain Glory while the banner is placed. Okay, that's great. That's amazing. All sources of banner Valor gained have been replaced with banner Glory generated. Honestly, from these changes that I read so far, I didn't see the passive tree, but I think that Tactician is the best class in the game. I think that Tactician is the best class in the game. You guys don't understand how stupid these banners will be. Blood Magic with 0 HP. I mean, on paper, you don't have to freaking dual wield two-handed maces. You're stupid if you don't, but you could use one-hander if you want to. Nah, man, you have to use two-handed maces, man. You don't have a choice. I don't know. Oh, you know what? You know what you could use? You could use this helmet that gives you. No, it gives you. What is this helmet? Hold on. Just use Bringer of Rain, no? Just use Bringer of Rain. You can wield two-handed axes, maces, and swords in one hand. Screw that. It's not Giant's Blood. You don't lose HP. You can't use body armor, though. What do you get? You get life regen. You get 100% increased critical strike chance. You get accuracy. And it has like a shitload of armor and evasion. Two-handed crit. Like full berserker mode, guys. Just scale some crit and let's go. Nah, you can't do this, man. Like, having no body armor is like... Bro, it's like equivalent of me not having a t-shirt right now. It would not get good. Trust me. So... we just can't do this, man. Death sentence, pretty much. It's like equivalent of like not freaking shaving for 4 months and then like starting the stream freaking bare naked and like calling it a freaking druid cosplay so that Twitch can't ban you because you're cosplaying. It's freaking doomed, man. It's over. Anyway, we had Valor, not Balor. Banners now have a global limit of 1 allowed to be placed, but there are ways in passive tree the Tactician Ascendancy to increase this. Yeah, Tactician is broken, we already know that. Curse skills and skills that apply elemental exposure can apply those debuffs to enemies that are significantly higher level than the skill's own level requirement. That's that's a bitch move and a half, bro. Requirements is fairly lenient and disappears completely by high gem levels. Okay, you're freaking lucky that this freaking sentence is there. Because if I could not use my exposure debuffs on bosses and without having like 150 intelligence, I'll be pissed. Blink, Convalescence, and Sacrifice can no longer be activated in specific weapon sets. They're now required to be active in both weapon sets and will fail to activate. Oops. Blink users. Higher rarity enemies are now less affected by curses. Curses have 50% less effect of magic monsters, 30% less on rare monsters, and 50% less on unique monsters. Salute Jason Bourne. The dream is over. 50% less on bosses. Goodbye. The movement speed penalty inflicted by skills can be now used. The moving speed, sure. Spirit of cost of specters, nobody cares. Spectre, nobody cares. Instant skills such as Unbound Avatar are usable while the raw amount. That's cool. Mark skills no longer spells. I don't know what that changes. Reservation skills that reduce reservation with quality now have increased reservation efficiency with quality instead. This is just like a wording change, right? Because now it's going to be increased reservation efficiency just like it is in PoE 1. I think. Play slower. Oh, we're gonna play so slow. When I play so slow, I'm going to turn into turtle. That's how slow we're gonna be. Like with all these nerfs, I mean, there are ways around these nerfs, and I have something on my mind. But I need to see the new passives. I really need to see the new passives. Okay. Killing Palm, Staggering Palms, Shattering Palm, Hand of Chapula, Frozen Locust now deal damage based on equipped quarterstaff. No longer have flat damage added, additional critical strike chance. Palm skills no longer be used without quarterstaff equipped by default. So what's the point of calling them even palm skills if you need to have equipped quarterstaff for all the quarterstaff skills? There's no point. Shockwave Totem, Ancestral Warrior Totem, Artillery Ballista Totem, Siege Ballista now use equipped weapons. Oh, so we're back to 0.1. They no longer have their own flat damage, base critical hit chance, or base attack time. Certainly boosted slams now have 25 increased area of effect, previously 20 increased. Fixed the bug where the area of effect bonus from Ancestral boosted slams was described as multiplicative instead of additive. I'm assuming that was only a description bug, unless we just freaking nerfed the area again. Which is possible. Totem's use weapon now is big, right? Not as dependent on gem levels. The opposite. It's way worse because now you need expensive weapons for totems to do damage. The opposite. It was good in 0.2. Now it's freaking shit. Because you need a weapon with high damage and levels on top of that. because this is probably how we're gonna scale their damage. So, so I think that totem builds will need the most expensive weapons actually, because they need super high fizz and plus the skills. No more cheap builds doing millions of damage. Yo, Carnarius, like, you're gonna see how little damage you're gonna do. Well, not with every build once again, but with many builds, people. Okay, you know the problem is, I'm gonna stand behind my words. I still do think that changes where they're decreasing the damage dealt by both monsters and players in this game is a good direction. But I fear that some people, and by some people I mean a lot, will get into this game and they will be just doing no damage. Especially people that don't follow any guides or anything whatsoever. They'll be like, oh, I can't kill these white monsters, man. It's possible. You have no hold on. Following skills found as here in skills on ones and stay. Okay, that's whatever. Ancestral Warrior Totem now. No limit on Ancestral Warrior Totem. What? So got the mace skills now have 50% less attack speed. Oof. Now requires consuming 3 oh, oof. Oh. Stop describing me? I never did. What do you mean? You were teaching me how to farm ritual. You're great at farming. So, the Giga Chats will probably get unaffected by new players. I don't know. Even if no more Giant's Blood, maybe only one weapon. Yeah, but if you're doing one weapon, then you're like literally have negative damage. Because if it's a one weapon, then you need to have one-handed weapon. With Giant's Blood, if you want to be wearing two-handed weapon in one hand, you still need Giant's Blood. So, with Endurance Charge, it's like a mechanic where you do some ninja skills and you generate like a glowing ball like going around you, right? And you can use this glowing ball to do some stuff, to empower your abilities, basically. So now you need 3 balls rotating around you in order to be able to use one totem. Which is kind of shitty, not gonna lie. I mean, there are ways of getting endurance charges pretty easily, but, you know. Arc is projectile, Archmage, 4% from 3%, Archmage buffs. Artillery Ballista, Ball Lightning, Butter Shout, explosion of the more damage against unique enemies. This is still gonna be ass. Increased rage effect, no longer grants leech. Rip physical users, no more leech with Berserk. Bind Spectre, Blink. Using Blink no longer counts as dodge rolling. Oh my lord, this skill got nerfed so hard. Bone Offering, Bone Shutter. Shockwave now deals 100% more damage against unique enemies. Bone Shutter needed a buff? I thought that Bone Shatter was already pretty good. That's a lot, man. You're gonna be one-shotting everything during the campaign with this. Everything that has ads, you just explode all of them, and the boss is gone. That's double damage. What? I thought it was nerfed. Same. It should have been nerfed. Take what we can get. But that's... Why did they do this? Bone Shatter was a good skill. Every freaking warrior used this skill to level up. Everyone. Every single one. That's the best way to level up. Is to leap slam around the map. Use this support skill that prevented enemies from getting stunned. And then Bone Shatter everything. That's minus 25% AoE though. Sure, but still. The skill itself is... does double damage to unique monsters, man. Like, what? Cast and Freeze and Cast on these things got combined into the same gem, into one gem. Cluster Grenade, Cold Snap, Comet. I'm gonna go with like melee skills. There's the banners. Now Aura now grants 30% more armor and evasion rating, 30% increased movement speed, has duration of 10 seconds without supports. So it's gonna be like 15 or more seconds, or like 20 seconds with duration. And banner is no longer... Bro, like, this guy, the Tactician, is gonna have permanent banners. Permanent. He's gonna have them permanently with these numbers. Like, Tactician is the best class in the game. Look at these numbers, man. This gets scaled by aura effect. This gets scaled, man. This is not just 30%. Oh my lord. Gaining glory too? Yeah, Tactician gets +5 glory per second. +5 per second, Kek W. Like, I don't know, are we going with this? Are we going with this freaking class? Like, on the league start? We could go safe and just go freaking Titan. And just go Tactician second build. But that's gonna be so OP, man. Of course, I would still go, like... I would still do, like, a melee build, right? We're not freaking doing, like, pew, pew, pew! Freaking... I'm not gonna turn into Vayne main. Carnarius read, brother. Alright, hold on. Despair, 49 chaos resistance. It's because... I know. It's because bosses have 50% less effect now. Disengage... Sure, whatever. Dread Banner. Grants flash charges per second. 3 times more. More elemental augment threshold. And also grants +4 to maximum elemental... Like, freaking... Sakato, bro. Sakato GG. Like, he's gonna get, like, 90%... Like, freaking all-res. Inside these freaking banners. After the aura scaling effects. Well, maybe not 90%, but he's gonna get so much. Bro, that's just ridiculous. Jack ground radius is now 1.8 from 2.2. Oh, so Earthquake... Hold on. Aftershock now has... Okay, at least the damage got buffed. And the radius, 2.4 to 3 meters from 3.4 at all gem levels. So... AoE got nerfed by 25%, and the worst skill in the game has even less AoE now. At least they're buffed the damage by like 30%, but like Earthquake's gonna have no AoE now. And its damage is still shit, by the way, just don't get me wrong. Damage is still non-existent on this skill, compared to other skills. I mean... Yeah, I mean, you have to wait 4 seconds for explosions, so like, it's so insane. Earth Shatter quality now provides 0 to 6% more damage with hits for each spike instead of +3 to... Oof. Oh, come on, man. I mean, I can't say I used that a lot, but that sucks. I think that was pretty fun, to have a lot of spikes. That was pretty fun. Okay, there's a lot of skills that... Enfeeble is 29% less damage taken. Escape Shot, Explosive Spear, Eye of Winter, Fangs of Frost, Fireball... Firestorm. Sorry, it's gonna take forever if I'm gonna read all these changes. So we're just gonna, you know, stick to melee. Flammability, conductivity, and hypothermia has been combined into a single gem elemental weakness. Okay. That's... I don't think it matters for warriors, but it definitely matters for sorceresses. So it's another sorcerer's buff. Fragmentation rounds, Frost Bomb, Frost Wall, Frost Bolt, Frozen Locust, Galling Shadow, Gas Green, bada beam, bada boom, bada boom. Herald of Thunderbolt, impact radius is 1 meter from 1.4. Oof. You know, I didn't see anything about Herald of Ice, though. Does that mean that you can still do the Icebringer build? Where everything explodes in, like, you know, there's like a chain reaction? If you know what I mean. Nice showcase, like, it's like chain reaction, right? I think you can still do this. There was nothing in the patch notes that said otherwise. I think it could still clear the maps like this. You know? I think you could still do this. And the shield charge mechanic, where you get the endurance charge to have a guaranteed crit, still works. And I haven't seen any nerfs so far to it. X-Blast, high velocity ice shards, incinerate, infernal cry. Oh, frick me. I don't like this. Empowers 1 attack per 10 enemy power in range, counting up to 50 power. Previously 1 attack plus, yes, I know. It no longer has 38% increased work rate speed, that's whatever. All empowered attacks gain... Infernal Cry combust, though it does significantly more damage at gem level past 20. Now also expanded endurance charge to bypass the cooldown. Oh, thanks, man. Rather than consuming endurance charge to empower additional attacks. Quality now provides empowered attacks gain 0 to 10 from 0 to 50. Alright, so the Infernal Cry went from 150% more damage to 59% more damage. So we lost, like... That's a... like 60 something percent nerf. Look, I know what you're thinking. Karn, you son of a bitch, it's your fault. Since on every single video since the release of Early Access, I've been saying that Infernal Cry is overpowered. But I didn't tell him to nerf it that much. I didn't tell him to nerf it by 65% or something. I mean, it's still a lot. It's still a lot. 59% is not a small amount. But maybe there are some passives on the tree that increase the effect of war cries now. Okay, I'm just coping right now. Killing Palm now 1 power charge while cooling. Okay, more power charge is great. Lightning Bolt, Lightning Conduit, Lightning Rod, Lightning Spear. Hold on. Now fires 5 secondary bolts from 8. Oof. No longer deals more damage when consuming. Oh! Ow! Unlucky. The rest of the stream, have a good night. Thanks for watching, Juna. Take care, man. Sweet dreams, my friend. Tangled Turd barely touched, too. Lightning Spear doesn't even look like that bad of a nerf. Tangled Turd? No, I think that Amazon got freaking cocked, like, from here to Las Vegas, man. This nerf is way less damage, and less area, like, way less area. Then, Amazon got nerfed by a lot. She's gonna have way less crit. And Tangled Turd, I need to get to it. But, we'll see. Oh, hold on. We have the most useless skill in the game. Now, passively increases your chance to block while active. That's kind of nice. Over time, it charges up with lava. While fully charged, your next block with your shield raised will spray lava in front of you and grant you an endurance charge. Well, that's so much better than it used to be before. That's so much better, man. You have to have like a freaking tiny little like freaking window to like block with your cock, and then freaking maybe get an endurance charge. That's so much better, man. Now grants 25% increased block chance. That's a lot. Magma Spray now has evasion on shield. What do you mean evasion? I'm assuming that's a typo. Like that should be evasion and armor, right? Evasion or armor, right? I'm pretty sure that's a typo. And has a radius of 2.8 meters. Magma Spray. Previously attack damage. The attack damage is way higher, actually. But the base damage is lower. But the percent I think that's a buff. That's a big buff. Unless that's actually not a typo. There's no way that's not a typo. Tangle Tongue was destroyed. It went from 20 crit chance to 8. It is... Alright, then Amazon is much worse then. Amazon is so much worse. Amazon nerf, which is a big crit nerf, with Tangle Tongue going down so much, with big nerfs to Lightning Spear. That's like a triple tap. I got freaking cocked like from here to Vegas, man. Unless forking was changed, it's still strong. Kind of sounds like it got freaking destroyed, man. But maybe I think it's I think there's gonna be problems with like single target damage, perhaps. For clear, it's probably gonna be okay still. Or maybe you're gonna need like a very high crit, very high physical damage, very high accuracy spear, which we're gonna be like, 100 divines or something. Mana remnants, mana tempest, now steps backwards instead of forwards if using while moving in the opposite direction where you're targeting. Okay. Now inflicts 20% more flammability. So basically it gives you like, more ignite chance and more ignite duration. Yeah, there's only one problem. The skill doesn't hit really hard by itself, so this is useless. The secondary projectile count can no longer be... Wait, what do you mean by secondary projectile count? You mean these small little balls that explode out of the balls? That didn't sound good, by the way. The small thingies. That doesn't matter. I guess it's still the same. Well, a little bit better, actually, because you can now kind of... You can move where you want, so... These small balls basically don't matter, I think. Quality now grants 30% chance to inflict elemental exposure instead of fire exposure, so exposure for everything, okay? I wish you could like just set up like boom, you're just standing still when you're using it. You know what I mean? I love the small bouncing. Now the small balls were cute, but apart from cuteness, I don't think they had much use, to be honest. It was always about the big explosion, the ball freaking, just goes kaboof, right? And everything dies. That was satisfying. These small balls, Orb of Storms, Overwhelming Presence, and Withering Presence are described as aura skills and have an aura tag. That's big. That means that Overwhelming Presence can get scaled with aura effect. That's not a small change. That's a big change. By the way, that's a really big change. Overwhelming Presence with aura effect? Huh. Perfect Strike. Now has an attack damage of... Oh my lord. Not this shit again. Perfect Strike now has 35 melee strike range from 14. Alright, so it's gonna hit around you like literally... It's gonna have really good AoE, apparently. But... Honestly, it kind of like also it also matters how much skills will scale above level 20. Because these numbers, very often, they don't tell us everything. They don't tell us entire picture, if you know what I mean. Still decent, I guess. I think it's not bad. Given the fact that you're probably going to be doing twice less damage because of the Infernal Cry nerf as well. But there are other places where you can gain damage, so... And if you can build really, really tanky, even if you're going to be doing 2 times less damage with Perfect Strike, I mean, okay, you should still be able to like survive, boss fights and stuff, I guess. It seems they want to take one shots out of the game, like one-shotting Pinnacles. You think I'm not going to one-shot Pinnacles in 2 weeks? Just you wait. I didn't see a single nerf for the skill that I wanted to use to one-shot Pinnacles, so there is still hope, boys. Rake, no longer incorrectly targeted as a travel skill. Oof. So that means that there is no more stomping ground with Rake, right? Yep. Rip. Rapid Assault, the Spearheads, okay. Rapid Shot, Raw Mount, Ripwire Ballista, Rolling Slap. Oh, hold up. Now has 1.5 seconds total attack time, previously 1 second. Longer attack time? But no longer has an attack speed penalty. I mean... I don't know. Quality now provides 0-100 increased threshold while using skill. So it's going to be really hard to get stunned when you're using this. I mean, this... Days build up is like, honestly, whatever, but... Overall, probably going to be, for the most part, the same. I think it's going to be better at very low attack speed, for very low attack speed builds. It's going to be better, most likely. Scavenge Plating now has 4% more armor per Scavenge Plating at all gem levels. From 5. Thorns got nerfed. Thorns got nerfed? Are you serious? Quality now provides Scavenge Plating duration is... Oh my lord. Alright, so we went from 70% more armor to 40% more armor in Scavenge Plating. I mean, 40% more armor for 30 spirit buff is still good. But it's not as good. But it's still good, though. It's not horrible. Siege Cascade. Seismic Cry. Cooldown no longer reset if it doesn't empower attacks. Now heavy stuns enemies prime for stun. Empowers 1 slam per 10 monster power and radius. No longer has 200 knockback, stun build up, ignore, that doesn't matter. Now allows you to expend endurance charge to rather than consuming quality down empowered attacks. Sure. Oh, this freaking Warcry lost pretty much everything that it had. It still does the same thing. Okay, I take it back. It does more damage with quality now. So I guess you could say that it's a little bit better than before. But honestly, who uses that against bosses anyway? I haven't seen a single build that used that against bosses. The skill's base movement speed has been reduced by 25 on shield charge, but no longer has a cool... Damn. Now has a base attack time of 0.6 seconds, previously 0.5, that doesn't matter. Now deals up to 100% more damage based on the distance traveled. Area... Oh my lord. No. What am I freaking doing? The shield charge got nerfed by 43%. 43% on shield charge. Almost by half. And that includes the fact that you need to be at basically the highest possible distance to get that damage bonus. Frick me, man. What are the other shield skills apart from shield charge? Is there anything else? Because when I was theory crafting the Icebringer, I think there was more than one, right? I think there was something else too. Why they're nerfing so much shit? The better question is why they're nerfing so much warrior shit. It's for the most part, it's the nerfs for warriors. And in the showcase yesterday, they were like, oh, we buffed every class, every ascendancy. Yeah, buff my freaking asshole, dude. These are not buffs. These are freaking fat nerfs, man. Shield wall. Curvature has been reduced. And now is approximately 40% longer by default. Now has a base explosion radius of 4 meters. That's a big buff. Additionally, damages enemies in close proximity to the wall in all directions when exploding. That's good. You can now use shield charge to bash straight through the wall. That's good. When the wall is destroyed by your own skills, the entire wall is destroyed at once rather than only nearby segments. That's good. However, this can only deal damage to each enemy once. That's bad. Now it has lower damage by 20%. That's bad. Now has 100% more damage if destroyed by your skills. That's good. Now deals 80% less damage if destroyed by enemies in the first 0.5 seconds of its duration. That's pretty bad. Quality of now provides 40% more damage if destroyed by your skills instead of extra shield walls. That's pretty nice too. I mean, it doesn't seem like it's gonna do a lot of damage, but with 4 meter base radius? Wow. $4 meters? You know how big 4 meters is? That's like That's like it's pretty big, man. Shockwave bird, okay. Shockwave oh, hold on. Slam now has attack speed of 50% base, previously 100. Slam now deals 66% attack damage from 211. While the Jack Ground Eruption now deal... Okay. It's the Jack Ground now. That does damage, apparently. No longer has the physical attack. Quality now adds seconds to the totem duration instead of minus 0.2 to base attack time. Freaking kill me, dude. I'll be honest, I'm not going to be doing math. How much that is. But that is so much. Such a big nerf. Overall. That's honestly, that's already half of the damage. That is half. This, for the most part, evens out because the damage is going to be done by Jack Ground now. Not by the totem itself. And it's going to be... Okay, it's going to be a little bit more than before, I think. But it lost minus 0.2 seconds of base time. This is completely useless. You want to be using this totem all the time. The duration doesn't matter, man. Oh, Lord. It will rock right that buff shield skills now, using it with Warbringer Ascendancy. Yeah, Warbringer is looking pretty good, but... Can scale Slam, Fizz Gem, you when it kills slower. I mean, but keep in mind that it takes your weapon. And this number is going to scale with levels maybe higher now. I don't know. I'm just copying at this point. It uses your weapon and your attack speed on the weapon. That's why they freaking cut base attack speed by half. But... I don't know, man. Skeletal Clerics. How much you want to bet that minions got buffed? Well, maybe not actually. Spark, Solar Orb, no longer has mana cost. Pulse now deals fire damage. The Ignite now ignites as though dealing fire damage. Yeah, so you can still always ignite with Solar Orb, if I understand correctly. That's nice. Spear Field, Spear of Solaris, Stormwave, Sunder. No longer has 0.9 seconds total attack time, but now has 35% attacks at 35% of attack speed. Bro, it's like it's gonna it's gonna take until Sunday when you freaking cast this skill. If we're gonna try to cast this skill on Friday, boy, it's gonna go off on Sunday, maybe Monday if we're unlucky. No longer consumes fully broken armor to guarantee the critical hit. Instead, it inflicts Sunder armor. No, I don't want to read this anymore, man. I'm done. No, man. I'm done, bro. So it lost crit. It attacks slower than freaking mayonnaise. It lost crit. And it gives you a debuff that increases physical damage taken by the enemy for the duration. This is literally like a debuff skill. You break the armor of the enemy, you use Sunder, and you get like extra damage. Where do they come up with this shit, man? Sunder on Ancestral Totem? Yeah, you're gonna use this totem is gonna use Sunder once before it disappears. You know? You know what will be the funniest shit ever? If someone for memes did like a really low attack speed build, they would summon the totem with Sunder and the totem wouldn't even fire once. I gotta freaking go for that build, man. 0 damage build. The lowest damage build in the game. Because you can't attack. Supercharged Slam. Attack damage is now 254 instead. Oh. Oh, okay. I was like, yo, maybe we have a new contender, boys. Nope, never mind. It lost the more damage per stage. Yeah, the totems got attack speed nerf. So if you take into consideration this and this, like, bro, I could play 2 League of Legends games before one attack is gonna go off. It's so over. Tempest build. Quality now provides more damage per hit the active bell has taken instead of +2 hits. That's a nerf, probably. Unless Tempest bell doesn't have a cooldown now. I don't know. I don't remember. Time of Need. Now attributes requirement is now 75 strength and 25 intelligence. For all the smarty boys. Volcanic Fissure. Now create 2 branches emerge from the either side of the main fissure. The length of the fissure is now affected by area modifiers. I might have been gem level of 7. Now has 80% physical damage converted to fire damage. Now attack damage is pretty much the same. I don't know, man. Like, you could probably do something with this. Maybe. Allied slams now trigger volcanic fissures. Ray triggers are now treated as aftershocks and will scale with aftershock specific effects. You can probably do something with this, but you need to. I need to test it in practice. Fissure is bait. It is or it's not. I mean, you know, looking at the fact that pretty much every warrior skill got. Let's just say that in a diplomatic way, toned down. This might actually look good now in comparison. It's like grenade, vulnerability. Yeah, war banner. Oh, look! Oh, look what Tactician is getting. Before aura modifiers, 25% more attack damage, 50% increased accuracy rating, and 25% increased attack speed. Frick me, man. Nah, the Tactician is gonna be so disgusting. Unique item changes. Item changes. Can we nuke the lower half of the patch? We're almost done. We're almost done. I don't like, you know, I for the most part I want to see what these changes are. So, Beirus Anguish is dead. I'm gonna try to go really fast. Black Braid unique body armor has from 80 to 120 of armor applies to elemental damage. Previously 100%. Great. So you can make them better or worse with divine orb. Good luck. Yay! Thanks, man. I'm surely using my divine orbs on this one exalt item, or even less. Undead, Brisk Rap, Death Harp got nerfed, Effigy Cruelty got nerfed, Malgar's Virtuosity got nerfed to 250. What a surprise. Nazir Judgment, unique quarterstaff is okay, doesn't matter. Paria doesn't matter. Okay, deflection rating. Tangle Tongue got freaking cocked into oblivion. Whispering Eyes is gonna be better, although, you know, it's whatever. Zov's Blood will have elemental exposure instead of just fire. That's okay. Then Block got nerfed on all these uniques, and okay. And then item changes. Emotions got renamed to Emotions. Great. Orb of Chances. More likely to succeed on amulets, rings, bells, and charms. Get your Astromantis ready. More Vol orbs can be found. Trial of Chaos, less often from other sources. Okay. Trial runners represent. The following omens can no longer be obtained, but they added 15 new omens, so I'm assuming there's going to be replacement. Talisman of Eshta provides cost efficiency. Items with inherent modifiers, martial weapons up to 25 critical damage bonus, previously 39. Crit is getting hit once again. Corruption implicit on oh my lord, that's another nerf. Warp Strife Mace implicit critical damage bonus, previously 15. That's a nerf. Crit is getting nerfed, I think, guys. Implicit modifier now has chance to daze on hit. I guess that's better. Reduced number of increased block modifiers from 7 to 3. So block's gonna be harder to get, but the cap is 50% right now, so it doesn't matter. Corruption on the also got nerfed. There's gonna be less physical damage taken from runes. There's gonna be less armor, evasion, and energy shield from runes. There's gonna be well, this got nerfed. more mana from runes, more stun duration from runes. Nobody's gonna use that anyway, so it doesn't matter. Sakwavel Rune of the Sky now grants 5% of damage as extra damage of all elements, previously 6%. That's honestly one of the best runes in the game. If you're doing pure Fizz build, and you are converting to fire, and you are doing this support that inverts the resistances of enemies, that's insane actually. That's really strong. Soul Core of Chikutani now grants 3% increased maximum life on body armors from 2. That's great, actually. Samonto, increased freeze build-up, maximum cold resistance, cold fire, more gold, elemental elements, charm charges, reduced slowing potency. That's actually might be pretty useful to use on boots. 15% from one rune is a lot. Critical damage 20%. That got buffed a lot. Nice. This is shit. This bada beam, bada boom, bada boom. Thorns. 50% increased thorns critical strike chance on the helmets. Holy smokes. Increased block chance on shields, accuracy on gloves, reservation, critical damage bonus from 12 to 5. Frick me. Suffix modifiers are gonna roll on strength armors from level that grant percentage of armor applies to elemental damage. Yep, we're gonna just freaking. You have to get like a rare armor, guys. You have to. If you want to actually stack armor and get like elemental damage reduction, you have to do this. Bada beam, bada boom, bada boom. Lowest two-handed weapons value of 2. Thanks, GG. You can't use that anyway because you can't use freaking Giant's Blood anymore. Yeah, I'm just kidding. Damage gain at extra elemental damage, increased mana regeneration rate. Okay, so two-handed stave's gonna get stronger. Falsy, Jewel, lost time and jewels no longer enroll only accuracy modifiers. Scepters also. Okay, they fixed that. This rune and weapon swap speed, jewel, and corruption modifiers can no longer roll. Monster changes. They have less evasion, so it's gonna be easier to hit them. That's cool. Oh, this guy's not gonna kill you anymore in one hit when you do this boss. That's cool. Act 3 bosses got squishier. Rogue Exiles got tankier. Less drowning orbs in Act 3, I guess. That's cool. That's pretty much it, boys. Bug fixes, you know, they fix the bugs, right? And that's it. Just like they just freaking like shoot it right in your eyes. Just remember, guys, that totems do not exist in the game anymore. Thanks. Well, that's about it. You guys wanna... Oh, and Deepest Tower in the Infernal class got removed, yeah. For now. You know, you want to have my opinion. I'm still going to stand behind my words. I do think that the game is going in the right direction. I think that lowering damage of this in this game from both players and monsters, and by monsters I mean they didn't really do that. They just gave us more defensive options. I think that's the right direction. But it's not going to be, oh, just slap 2 big maces and just go oonga boonga and just freaking one-shot everything in the game. Actually gonna need to use some freaking brain power to come up with some high damage builds, I feel like. We're actually gonna need to do that. Yo, Codulets, don't these changes mean that Mjolnir build is kind of dead? By the way. How can we survive with 3k life? We'll have to stack armor. We'll have to stack armor, invest into these modifiers that make your armor apply to elemental damage at the same time, and get like 30k armor, and get some mitigation against physical and some mitigation against elemental, I think. We'll just need to stack armor, literally. They didn't nerf Hammer of the Gods. Oh, they didn't nerf the worst skill in the game? Yay, let's go. Big. The new skill on Warrior that you throw a hammer with flames. If it's going to be good, we're gonna see. It's kind of like Mjolnir, I guess.